Hello, everybody. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. In the Eating Peace program, people have been really looking lately, not just once, not twice, but numerous times at the idea that when there's empty, unscheduled time, or boredom, as we call it, the feeling to eat arises. We're not hungry. We didn't really need any food at the moment. We might have even just eaten a meal. Or it's in that empty space in the evening when our day is done and it's time to make a meal. But we find ourselves thinking, I'm bored. And the movement towards seeking something to fill that empty space, this emptiness. It's not a really small thing. It feels like it's not really dramatic and that boredom isn't something we're super against. I need a little something, tastiness, or perhaps I want to watch TV, or perhaps I'll surf the internet for a while. There is something quite powerful, even if it doesn't seem very traumatic, about this experience that's really worth looking into. Somebody once shared with me that a mentor and teacher, boredom could also be called dissociation light, L-I-T-E. Thought it was kind of funny because the word L-I-T-E, light, is often used in like fake diet foods, right? Something's lightened. There's less fat or something's taken out of it or extracted. And supposedly you can eat more of it because it's light, which isn't even a real word in English when you spell it L-I-T-E. So there's something false and fake about it. But dissociation light, so let's apply that, because it's very interesting. When there's empty space in our experience of reality, in our schedule, in our day, in our time, us and reality, ourselves and reality, if you feel this boredom come in, you can ask yourself, if I wasn't experiencing this boredom, which somebody else was noticing right in the Eating Peace program, she was doing inquiry, calling it a masking emotion. She had understood it to be a masking emotion, which is the same type of thing. It's like if you really allowed all your thoughts and feelings to rise up about being in existence in this world, kind of meta thoughts about life. Sometimes those come in when you don't have scheduled time, when you're not busy, when you don't have a task to achieve or complete, when there's not some survival mechanism required, when you don't actually need to find food, clothing, shelter, the bathroom. You're not on a mission. There's no necessity at the moment. So there's time for meta thoughts to arise, like a greater consciousness, or maybe old memories or ideas when you're considering conversations or communication you've had with people or where you are in life, sort of the way we'll do this reflection, which is a perfect time of year right now. At the time of this recording is December. We're moving into December, partway through, and at the end of the calendar clock, often many of us spend some time intentionally to reflect on our new year. There's this calendar change and the numbers change in the day. Of course, the days, it's just another day, really. But in the human-made calendar, it's a new year, new moment. And so we'll be sort of oriented this way. And there's, people do this at all different times of year, not only this one. But what if we just considered this sense of boredom with respect to looking more deeply at our lives in the moment, and kind of allowed those both to be shared in the same moment, so that when you have that boredom, I'm so bored, I want to get a little something. Just watching this urge for pleasure or to avoid or move away from kind of a great, vast, empty feeling or an overall reflection about your grand life, your whole life, and the consciousness that you have about that. Sometimes in that moment, if you really sat still and did nothing and didn't respond to the idea, I am so bored, you'd hold still and you might have a huge variety of feelings. You might feel concern or grief or sadness or just awareness of the incredible feelings of life and the huge range of experience and response we have here and the mystery of it, how bizarre it is. Each and every living creature and things that don't seem so living, quite astonishing. You might, just be amazed by what surrounds you and worried or fearful or full of grief. And often these are the things we try to dissociate from, right? I mean, emotional eating is all about attempting to dissociate, avoiding feelings, wanting to fix them quickly instead of just be with them. The feeling, I can't handle it. This moment isn't good enough. It's very empty. Kind of dislike that. I'd like to be more entertained. Or I can't stop thinking about some concern or problem, so I want to fill up the space, feel a little restless. So with inquiry, simple way to work with that, where you don't have to be too cosmic or don't have to understand anything that's missing, is just to sit with the 4 questions. Is it true that that moment is boring? I love that the word boring kind of has we bore down into something. There's another word, same word, boring, and it means to dig deeply in. But when we say, I'm so bored, we're usually not doing that. Something feels superficial and not deep and light, L-I-T-E. There's just a sense of unrest or emptiness, kind of an avoidance or some discomfort with that lack. Nothing's happening. I need some entertainment. And just to feel compassion for yourself having that kind of thought instead of beginning to criticize yourself, which happens so often. I should just find this moment fine. I shouldn't be bored. You should be bored because you are. All right. But now we get to look. This moment is actually boring. My empty kitchen at the end of the workday. Who would you be without that thought? Is it true? First, is it true? You might say yes immediately, but I find I can't absolutely know it's true. Sometimes you just stare around at the room you're in, even if it's empty of other people or a lot of entertainment. You find it quite astonishing. Look at this place. How did this all come to be? It's crazy. What is this world? Who am I? Sometimes that kind of thing arises in that moment, as soon as you let yourself not be bored. But just looking at the stillness and the environment and the space and not needing to believe that I need to do something next or something needs to happen in order to be entertained. Or the mind, just noticing the activated mind. Very busy sometimes. So who would you be without this story? I'm bored. Who would you be without the thought? I'm bored. Just sitting in that meditation, that inquiry, can be incredibly powerful. And finding the turnarounds. I am not bored. My thinking is boring. It just goes off. My thinking about this moment is actually placing boredom on this situation, not what's actually happening. And this moment is fascinating. Can you find something that's so interesting about the moment? Just hold still and slow down. Allow what's there to rise up. It's often quite fascinating and quite entertaining. Can I just be with it instead of being so sure I need to dissociate and disconnect from this emptiness? Is the emptiness so unfriendly? Maybe it's friendlier than you know. All right, let me know how it goes. Take care.